Okay, that's set up. All right. All right. All right, sir. Yeah, well, all right. So now we're going into the Chromebook now. Yeah. Yeah, just take down a picture. Yeah. There's a lot of, okay, yep, we just went. And then, yep, all right, now it's, all right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Click whatever meeting you chose. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're definitely doing this again, multiple times. This is the new thing. Mhm. All right. Will do. All right, later. Bye.
Okay. You need to pin her when she's got a vote.
The captions already set.
Yes.
There's seats up front. If anybody's in the back and just walked in, there's a couple seats up front. Feel free to come on up.
The captions are just
Here, once.
the same feed as this.
Yeah. I just said yes. And
Oh, yeah, there it is.
there you go. Yeah. As long as the microphone picks it up. Live? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. As we begin, I just want to say a few things because we've changed the way we're running the meetings. We actually came out in public before, announced the beginning of the meeting, closed the meeting, went to private session. So there's no need to come to that time frame. You really just come here during this public session. It's just a formality. We will start the public meeting in a second. What we do ask is anybody who'd like to speak, please come up with a microphone. You do have to again announce your name and your address. Okay, so if you can please do that for us, we'd appreciate it. And we will go through again. We will open it up to public for things on the agenda first, then we will go through the agenda, and then we will open up for things not on the agenda. Okay, but we do also ask, require that everybody keeps their mask on at all times. Okay. All right. I have a motion to enter back into public session.
I'll make the motion.
We have a second. Great, thank you. So based on the motions of Ms. Grosso and Mr. Nambola, and upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education is going to return to open session at approximately 6:08 p.m. I prefer a vote for nays or yays or nays.
Yes, no,
Yes.
yes, yes. Nays, abstentions. Motion.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, now we're going to move into the regular agenda again. Brian, any communications?
No communications.
Anything for the superintendent's report?
Yes, I just wanted to report that we did have a vaccination clinic through the local health department, and we had over 40 people vaccinated, and they are coming back on September 7th to offer a second mobile clinic. So please look out for our flyer that's going to tell you where to go and what time it's going to be.
Thank you. And from the president's report, you will note in the minutes that we have updated the committees. We have combined or added technology into curriculum, so it's a curriculum and technology committee. There maintains the personnel committee, and then there's a buildings facilities committee. So we're looking to combine some of the committees and make them more efficient. Okay, can I ask for approval of minutes, approval of the regular public monthly meeting minutes from June 14th, special public meeting minutes of the June 28th and July 29th, and the public conference meeting minutes of June 7th, 2021, and the private executive session minutes of June 7th, 14th, 28th, and July 23rd.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
I have a second? Second. Brian, please take the roll.
Mr. Diambola? Mr. Elko?
Yes.
Ms. Grasso?
Yes.
Ms. Frank? Yes. Mr. Cipolleti?
Yes.
Okay, 5-0, motion carried.
Thank you.
Dan, just before we go, Dr. Copley, can we just make sure that all the minutes are posted on the board website?
Yep.
Thank you.
And now we're going to move into the public input on agenda items. That's agenda items only, please. Public participation shall be governed by the following. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of your name and address, again, up here at the microphone. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration and may only address items on the agenda at this particular time. Participants may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that said topic have been heard, and all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. If you have any questions or comments on the agenda, that hopefully you guys would have received in the back with 4 copies.
There's a bunch of front here.
Oh, okay, there's just
A bunch of
All right, thanks.
back there. You know.
Everybody, just in interest of time, we're going to move forward. So if you do have any questions on the agenda, you can bring those up later as well, okay? Just in interest of time, so we'll give you some minutes, a few minutes to read the agenda. Okay, we're going to go through now motions by content area, curriculum and technology. Ms. Russell?
Yep. Before I make a motion to approve the items under curriculum and curriculum by content area, in an effort for the board to be more transparent, the board members at the beginnings of meetings are going to give a summary of the different committee meetings that we do, to give the public some sort of idea of what we discuss at this meeting. Mr. Diambola and I are on the curriculum and technology meeting, committee. So this meeting, I'm going to give you guys a summary of our meeting that happened on August 4th at 2 p.m. via Google Meet. In that meeting, we discussed the district professional development plan. We also decided to create a position, which you'll see on the agenda tonight, of an ELA instructional coach. This came from the retirement of our humanities coach, and it's an effort to expand curriculum support across K-12. Initially, the humanities coach had been a K-5 position and really was necessary because we had no formal social studies curriculum. Now that we have a formal social studies curriculum in place, we've decided to create this position in order to expand the support for our teachers and our students K-12. We have the Smart Summer Academy, and we have a progress update for everyone on that. The program overview is that 94 students participated in the program through grades K through 6. It was a 5-week program that ran July 5th through August 5th, Monday to Friday, 2 hours and 15 minutes, an AM session and a PM session. Small group reading instruction was provided daily using guided reading, independent reading, and math skills. 64% of students attended 80% more of the sessions, which was excellent, and you'll hear why in a moment. Of the students who attended, 80% or more of the Smart Summer Academy, 96% of them have grown at least one reading level over the course of that program, which is excellent. Help those students to catch up on a lot of learning loss from last year. 3 times the number of students are now currently entering September on grade level in reading than at the start of the program. So that was a great job done by all teachers and curriculum support staff overall. We commend all of them and thank them for their time. We thank all the parents who sacrificed their time to send their children. It was hard work done by all, and we can see it really paid off. We have some exciting news at the middle school, which is an initiative that was proposed by our middle school principal, John Bertolo. We are going to be having a National Honor Society now at GCMS. You'll also see on the agenda, it's under position creation, that there will be an advisor for that, and that it will be developed this year. But we also really commend Mr. Bertolo for coming forward to the curriculum committee, to Ms. Jones, and by that's the benefit of having a middle school principal was at the high school, right? You see is what's there and how we can bring it down to the middle school levels. It's very exciting for the students, very exciting for us as a district. Elementary updates. We did a 5-year curriculum review. So we always in curriculum committee are reviewing our curriculum, continual ongoing process of our curriculum revisions. We really discussed post-pandemic responsiveness, prerequisite standards, and prioritization of major content areas. We're also currently taking our curriculum and making sure that it aligns to the updated curriculum standards as set forth by the state for the 2021-2022 school year. Other elementary updates. In addition, listening to the public and understanding parents' need to feel a part of their children's education, the curriculum committee, and I really give Ms. Jones, Ms. Jacobs, who is our elementary supervisor of curriculum, really the kudos on this. They're finding additional ways to communicate feedback on our student learning to families. Okay, ways we're going to be doing this is by creating digital portfolios year after year, writing samples that are going to follow your child from grade to grade. That's going to be done digitally through LinkedIn and also through paper copies. Reading levels are now going to be added to report cards. Letters about how to determine where your child is at a reading level. Specific letters will be going home from Ms. Jacobs and Ms. Jones this year. So when you see your child's reading level on the report card, it makes somewhat sense to you. And then if you have questions above and beyond that, you can contact your child's teacher. We're making sure that all our math tests, our new math curriculum will start in September, that every single test is aligned to the core curriculum standards. It will better help prepare the children for the NJSLA in the spring. And finally, family access to Linkit. So Linkit, we really are starting to get our feet wet. We've been mastering Linkit. We're moving like a to be continued growing process to give families access, and then eventually to give our students access so that they can take responsibility for their learning. And those are the things that we discussed. If you have any questions about anything that I just read off, or if you want me to repeat anything, I just encourage you to please direct your questions to Dr. Conklin. He'll be able to speak more insightfully. But again, this is a new practice by the board to be very forthcoming with the parents and just so you guys know what we're discussing and can be part of it and then ask questions. Okay. I'm going to now move forward to motions by content area. I make a motion to approve item numbers 1 through 7 on this evening's agenda.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Brian, please take the roll.
Yes. Mr. Diavola.
Yes.
Mr. Elgo.
Yes.
Ms. Grasso.
Yes.
Ms. Lynn Frank. Mr. Cipollette.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. I'd just like to reiterate, please, everyone, continue to wear your masks and cover your masks and cover your face with your mask. This is a rule that we have to follow or we are subject to fine. So if you cannot do that or feel uncomfortable doing it, please leave the room. Personnel.
Personnel, the superintendent makes the following personnel recommendations to the Board of Education. Motion to approve certificated staff item letters A through H and non-certificated staff item letters A through X on the agenda under personnel.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Brian, would you please take the roll?
Yes. Mr. Diavola.
Yes.
Mr. Elgo.
Yes.
Ms. Grasso.
Yes.
Mr. Sepulvedi.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Okay, finance and facilities. Mr. Elko?
I make a motion to approve items number 1 through 12 on this evening's agenda under finance, and item number 1 under facilities, which could include an addendum, item 1F, which is a resolution to induct Howard Andy DeBurrow to Legends Park.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Great. Brian, would you take the roll, please?
Mr. Diavola.
Yes.
Mr. Elgo.
Yes.
Ms. Grasso.
Yes.
Mr. Sepulvedi.
Yes.
The motion carried 4-0.
Great. Oh, I'm sorry.
President, is it okay if I take a second?
Yes, please
Thank
do.
you so much. I'd like to take a second to introduce the new Director of Special Services, Ms. Madera. She can come up here for a second and introduce herself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ellen Madara, and I just wanted to say that I'm thrilled to serve as your new Director of Special Services. I come from a rather large district in Central Jersey, where I worked for 22 years in education. I was a paraprofessional, then a teacher, then a learning consultant on the team, and an administrator. I grew up in Essex County, so I have to say that I'm happy to be back in a part of the state that feels much more like home. And in the 6 days that I've been here, I have observed already the dedication and level of commitment of the staff and of the families here in Caldwell-West Caldwell. And I'm happy to be here. Certainly, I've met some of you. I've met some parents, or communicated with some parents. I've met a few staff members so far this week. I've met most of the administrative team, but I really do look forward to meeting the teachers in the next couple weeks, and of course, seeing the students come back to school and getting to know the students. I look forward to working with you, collaborating and communicating with you, and as a school community, and really supporting effective instructional programs that meet the needs of all kids. I'm very approachable. I'm very available. If you have any questions or concerns that I can help you with, please reach out to me via email, via phone, and I'd be happy to discuss anything you'd like.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we're going to move into public session for things on the agenda or anything else, which is obviously outside of the typical protocol, but since the agendas came out a little, or we're up here, we're going to go that path. So again, for public participation shall be governed by the following. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address at the mic up here. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes in duration, may address any items. Participants may speak no more than once on the said topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard, and all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Anyone have any questions or comments they'd like to make? Before you start, anybody else has any comments, just raise your hand and we'll kind of just select you afterwards. Yeah, once he's done. Sure.
My name is Joe Coral, President of West Caldwell, 18 Eastern Parkway. I'm here to address Executive Order number 251, the mask mandate for all schools in New Jersey. Last week over dinner, my wife and I, we spoke to our children and we said that there's a chance that you're going to have to wear masks. And they reacted as if I punished them. They reacted as if I told them they were grounded. They said, no one can understand me with the masks. I can't speak when the mask is on. The elastic hurts my ears. I get headaches. It's gross to wear that thing. It's gross to sneeze in that thing. I feel lightheaded after wearing it. After a few hours, I can't concentrate wearing it. I can't breathe properly wearing it. You see our children, they have the signs, and those are all their words, not our words. Leading into today, I labored over what to say and the explanation that I give. I realize I don't have to give an explanation. It's not the parents that need to explain ourselves. It's the state that needs to explain itself. It needs to explain what a response is when your son says, I can't breathe wearing it. What type of response, what type of explanation do we give? We've got no explanation other than because Murphy said so, and trust the facts, trust the science, trust the stats. But the facts and stats say that there's a 0.08 mortality percentage from dying of COVID for a child. It's the same percentage of getting struck by lightning. It's the same percentage of choking to death. And while no parent wants to see either happen to their children, I don't insist my kids wear rubber boots at all times for the 0.08% chance that they might get struck by lightning. I don't say, Nick, we're moving to liquid diet from now on, because there's a 0.08% chance that you might choke to death. But if a parent were to make such a drastic decision about their children, why, I may not agree with it. I may even think it's ridiculous. I would respect their decision to make it for their children, because it's their children. They're making that decision. They have that ability. That's all I'm asking, is the same respect. Don't take that out of the parents' hands. Allow us the ability to make the decisions for our children, because their physical well-being is important, but their emotional well-being is just as important. Their mental well-being is just as important. Chris Elko, 2 years ago, I got a chance to know you. I met you, your family. I voted for you. I had a sign on your lawn, on my lawn rather. And you didn't sit there. You sat there next to us regarding educational issues, the busing issue. You said, if I'm elected, I'll fight for you. Fight for us. Be our voice. We're not asking for one extreme or the other. We're not saying all masks or no masks. We're simply saying, leave it up to the parents to make the decision for their children. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Wendy LaBruno, 15 Dellwood Road in West Caldwell. Thank you for letting me speak. I am here to say that our kids should not be forced to wear masks and that parents have the right to decide what is best for their children. I know that you will tell me that there's a mandate, but my answer to you is then it's time to look and follow the likes of Wall Township, Manasquan, Middletown, West Milford, and many, many more. Write a letter to Governor Murphy and tell him that you request that he rescind this mandate and give the decision-making power back to our local district. We know our community vaccination rates. We know how many students have had COVID and have natural immunity. We know our local data. We know our ventilation systems. They are our children. They are not his, and he does not know West Caldwell. Science is on our side, but you know this. You already know that more kids ages 5 and up died by suicide last year rather than COVID. You already know that doctors around the world have seen a substantial increase in anxiety, headaches, depression, and school refusal. You already know that every speech and language pathologist and developmental study cites the importance of lip spreading and observing mouth movement, both of which are restricted by masks. We know that the CDC themselves, after studying data out of Florida, where there was no statewide mandate, states, and I quote, these findings add to a growing body of evidence suggesting that COVID-19 transmission does not appear to be more frequent in schools than in non-educational settings. Does not. So why must our kids wear masks in school and nowhere else? We also know a study out of Johns Hopkins. This study has shown that children with no secondary medical issues are not at high risk when it comes to this virus. They are not drivers of this virus. We also know that kids, especially the younger ones, do not follow proper mask usage guidelines as cited by the CDC, rendering them completely ineffective. I know you want normal for our kids. I know you want to see their smiles. It's imperative that you respectfully tell Mr. Murphy that parents should have a choice. And I can only think of 2 reasons that you wouldn't. It's a simple letter that you'd write. Number 1, you don't want to. You don't want parents to have the choice. And it's good to have the governor take the heat rather than you. Or number 2, you don't want to ruffle feathers. Maybe it's a political connection, or maybe it's not wanting to upset some special interest groups. I don't want to believe that it's any of the above, but I cannot imagine any other reason not to ask that the decision-making power be returned back to us. It is our children, and West Caldwell, Caldwell Public Schools do not belong to Governor Murphy. They are ours. These are our kids. Enough is enough.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's the first time I've been here, and I've lived here since 1980, but I feel compelled to be here. I have been a registered nurse for 47 years.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you please just share
Oh,
your name
sorry,
and address?
Susan Marinici, 32 Ravine Avenue, Caldwell. And I've been a registered nurse for 47 years, and I've never seen anything like this in my life. If anybody has any brains, and you look up the data, the mask is 0. Unless you're wearing an N95 mask, which our children are not wearing, and you're wearing a cloth mask or one like this,
And
it does not stop COVID. Does anybody really even know what COVID is? They talk about a Delta variant. There's no test for a Delta variant. It's nonsense. So mandating masks violates the 14th Amendment, parents' rights to choose. It also, mandating people to get vaccines is also taking away the rights of employees and threatening them with their job, which also violates the 14th Amendment. So my other question is, I have no idea what the curriculum is. Both my children were raised through the school system and they did great. But if there's CRT coming into our school, or what we call racial equality, diversity, or whatever it is, I don't want my tax dollars going to that. I pay good taxes in this town. I don't have kids in school anymore, but I still get charged the same tax. Children should be taught and educated, not indoctrinated, because that's what this is. Identity? That's nobody in school's business. Whatever has to go on in a home goes on in a home. So I think I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I live in this town. I never hear anything about what's going on. I mean, to find out what the curriculum is that going to be in our schools? Is that on the curriculum? Nobody wants to answer me, right?
We will comment after everybody's done.
Children need to be educated, not religious, caring about each other. I was raised in a project in Newark. I've never seen anything like that. I lived there during the riots in the 60s. I've never seen anything like this. And you people need to stand up for our town and our kids.
I'm going to turn my back. I'm going to turn my back down because what's the time? Okay, so thank you for allowing me to speak. Much rather than know that I love my speech with you. So if you don't understand, I'm not saying we have it right there. My name is Anthony Twitter. I have 2 kids at Vicky School. And first of all, Mother Dr. Kathy. I know you've been in this the charity years. And I've never listened to education here. But I want to tell everybody no matter what, do what you think is right. and do is the best history of repeated, which in this case is our children, in this risk. So I want to tell you that I, as a parent, look at you as an advocate for our children, in this risk. So I'm here tonight to voice my concern about the vax mandating either open every if you haven't read the handout that I gave to you, it is about, it is against a federal law to mandate a mask. It is against the law to mandate product under EUA, which is Emergency Use Authorization, such as face covering masks. PCR testing capacity because they're not approved or licensed by the federal government. Military safety efficiency are not being approved. It is by definition experimental which requires people to be given the right to use them. This probably can have a shock to many people here because why in the world you have a federal like this federal law? That would be very irresponsible. Like, when let me tell you guys, see, this is a federal law has been violated across the country. There have been many legislation that they have the class action lawsuit filing the federal court here in Missouri about police happening and other lawsuit against government executive order or because it is unconstitutional. So if I ask you to rob a bank with me, you would immediately say no, right? Because you know that break is the law. But what if I say to you, how about you helping me rob a bank and I give you $1 million and I guarantee you will get arrested. Perhaps you'll have a second thought, depending on who or what values you owe that to. When you committed a crime, you're considered a accomplice. So let me tell you that he got correspondence with Dr. Haley back in June when I asked him about the LEA plan. He specifically told me that Cora was slated to receive $1 million funding, and in order to receive that funding, they must file government disorder. It sickens me to hear this because that may telling me that our children are community to receive that funding. Never mind what harm could be eating man. So in retrospect, this federal law really holds you accountable when you make the decision to file government disorder. In fact, it can make you accomplish to this crime. Even open the door for lawsuit in this case. And in that case, if I were you, I would say that $1 million. Additionally, there are now countless suits out there from doctors around the world that worry that further use of masks, especially our children, who to have ruined gains that affect their benefits. Decisions have been made in the advocacy and advocacy, which may be limited to how a child's physical health, mental health development, physical, social, emotional development, learning, and education. You have a family to think of, you have your own reputation to think, and most importantly, you have our children to think this we should think of. I'm a believer of God. Yeah, I pray that each in your heart to do what's right. So I'm asking each of you to really think about the way and the effect of your decision. I think Mac mandate and how this causing more harm than good. I'm open to find somewhere either how to do the right thing by looking at the max mandate and need the discretion of the parents to make the decision for what their children. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Michelle Coro, and I'm at 18 Eastern Parkway in West Caldwell. I have one question and one request. The question is in relation to Executive Order 251, and it's 1G. When a student's participating in high-intensity physical activities during a phys ed class in a well-ventilated location, able to maintain physical distance 6 feet from other individuals, they have an exception to wear a mask. Last year, my son was in 7th grade at Grover Cleveland Middle School and wore a mask the entire school year. I'm not sure what the executive order said last year, but I want confirmation that they will not be forced to wear a mask during physical education from Executive Order 2511G.
Yes, they're not required to, there are several exceptions, and we will follow every single
Okay.
exception that's available.
So you will comply with that part of it, and during gym class, they will not be required to wear
Gym
masks.
class, sports activities, music programs, specifically, those are the exceptions.
Okay,
And they're already listed in the back to school plan that we have available. That will be made available tomorrow.
okay, perfect. Thank you very much for that. Other thing is a request similar to what the citizens have said here today. I support everything everyone has said. You know, we recently read a letter that the Fairfield Board of Ed sent to Governor Murphy requesting that he change the mandate to a guideline. I am asking the board to be our voice. There obviously are many voices who want a choice for their children. And I am asking and requesting that you listen to these voices. I know, I think Wayne did a vote with the Board of Ed and voted to also write a letter to the governor. And I'm asking that this board does the same and supports our voice and our choice. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments on the agenda or any other topic?
Madeline Brown, 13 Burgundy Road in Caldwell. You referenced the plan, so I just have a couple of questions regarding that. I don't know, it's not out yet, so I don't know if you'll speak to it tonight or what's included in it. But my questions are regarding like lunch periods and where they're going to take place and like just kind of the logistics. Also, a question I have is what the board's policy will be for teachers. And I know now they all have to be vaccinated, but with regards to close contacts in their own home, or is the district going to be making them quarantine or test before coming back to school? Or is that just something that they'll be, since they're vaccinated, they're able to come right back?
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, so the plan will come out tomorrow. It's a comprehensive plan and it'll address all the areas that we have concerns about. Lunch and what the plan is for lunch, what the plan is for hygiene, what the plan is for cohorting, what the general plan is for close contact, what the schools will do. Each school then is going to be sending out their own specific plan because of the facilities, the staffing is so unique to each one of the schools. So they'll send out their own plan by this Thursday. That'll specifically address what time lunches are going to be available, how lunches are going to run in their building. So that way there's a general plan that the district will see that tomorrow, along with new attestations that are expected to be done weekly. At least for the first month of school, so we can ensure the safety and health of all the students. In terms of each individual plan for teachers who may be close contact outside of school, each case will be a case-by-case basis, depending on where that happened and how that happened. But typically, if someone is a close contact in school or out of school and they're not vaccinated, they have to quarantine for 7 to 10 days.
Right, but if they are vaccinated,
If they are vaccinated, they are allowed to come back in based on the guidelines that we have. So if
Okay.
someone is vaccinated and they're in close contact, they don't have to quarantine, they can be in school the next day.
Mr. Yolda, just, you can come up after this. I'm just trying to go in order. Yeah, just.
Good evening. Herbert Feeks, 48 Laurel Place, West Caldwell, New Jersey.
currently the president of the Music and More Booster Club at the James Caldwell High School. Nice to meet everybody. So basically, it's more of a concern. I understand you already have a plan, and I'm dying to see what the plan is for tomorrow, what it would say. Regarding music, I hope the kids are going to get together this year and be able to perform together. I know it says like 3 feet apart that they have to be, the students, or I don't know what the plan is for it, because I guess transparency is probably the biggest concern I have. I don't know what's going on with the music program at this point in time. Singing, theater, is there a game plan? Is there gonna be a tent set up? Like, what are we doing? You know, and I want my kids to have a normal school year. Education is like the most important thing, but so is music, so is sports. You're gonna put masks on kids and sing, you know, it kind of takes away the joy and the pleasure of it all. It's important that these kids are able to express themselves. As much as a football player, basketball player, volleyball player, whatever, it doesn't matter. We all have to be able to do and be able to perform our best. I mean, can you perform your best in a mask on football field? You don't see football players wearing masks, you know, and musicians shouldn't have to wear masks. Maybe they have to wear some kind of protection, but not, it has to be something done. That's all I'm hoping that gets done, is something gets done where these kids are able to express themselves. Secondly, I also would like to thank, you know, you have a tough role and it's not going to be an easy situation for the school, but I want our school to stand out, not just be put under the rug. I feel like Wayne is standing out. Somebody mentioned other towns that they're doing things. I think we need to do things for our students. I just don't want us to be lumped into the, you know, let's be the safe school. I don't want to be the safe school. I want to take a little bit more chance. I want to be aggressive a little bit, but be concerned about safety, but not go over the top where, like that gentleman before us said, wear boots because there's lightning's gonna hit. I mean, really, don't we have to draw the line somewhere and say, let's take a chance now? I mean, at my job, we don't have to wear masks. We're vaccinated. Vaccination is my mask. Kids are vaccinated. I mean, do we lump everybody into one group and say, hey, you're vaccinated, you're not vaccinated, it doesn't matter, you're vaccinated, you're wearing a mask. That's not right. We need to say, these kids are vaccinated, they're gonna be safe. These kids are not vaccinated, they should wear the mask, not my kids that are vaccinated. So let's make guidelines. Can't wait to see the plan. I hope it's a good school year. And, you know, I just want the best for our students, our teachers, and I hope it gets off to a good year. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Sherry Needset. I'm at 71 Richard Ave, West Caldwell. Thank you for taking the time. One question I have before I look at the statement was that you just said the teachers are getting vaccinated, and if they're vaccinated, they can come right in. But we all know that the vaccinated person can still pass the COVID, so there is no difference. It doesn't make sense why is there segregating vaccinated, unvaccinated, when the vaccinated person is doing the same exact thing as an unvaccinated person. The masks, we all know they don't work, they're useless. To even have this on, it's just frustrating and annoying. And I can only imagine how kids with glasses trying to read while they're, you know, fogging up all day. It's just unnecessary. And as everyone had made a lot of great statements, the masks are more harmful to our kids. And it's up to you guys, the BOE, to fight for us and to send a letter to the tyrant of the state of governor of New Jersey and tell him that we want the choice. We want the choice for our kids, not him, not you, us.
My name is Vito Bruno. I live at 15 Delwood Road. I just wanted to reiterate what you said. A vaccinated child could come back to school in one day, and an unvaccinated can't. But yet, if you take the vaccine, you could still get COVID and spread COVID. So how is that fair to my kid if he's not vaccinated? And my second question is, if there's exceptions in gym class or music, does COVID spread differently in gym class or music? What's the difference if they're sitting at their desk or eating? It's just, we gotta use common sense here. Let's face it, these things don't do anything. We're paying big taxes in this town. We have to look for homeschooling now because I don't want my son, a 6-year-old, and my daughter 5 to wear a mask for another year. Bad enough virtual was terrible. I mean, gym class, they're in virtual. I go in the room and he's playing with a paper ball on the floor. I mean, that's not gym class. So it's time we step up for the kids. Forget about the pandering and the politics and just think about it. These are little kids. Imagine if you guys were 4 or 6 years old and had to wear a mask for a whole freaking year in school. I mean, just imagine. You didn't have to do it. So it's like, oh, the kids will be all right. They're going to wear masks. They'll be fine. And these politicians aren't wearing masks. They're not wearing masks. Obama had a party. Nobody was wearing masks. Nobody has a mask, but the servants, they all had to wear masks. That don't make sense either. The servants spreading COVID, but the people eating are not. Let's just use common sense, please. This is a lot of stress for me, for my wife, and I'm sure a lot of these people here. Everybody is stressed about this every day of our life. So just give us the choice. If the mask is so safe, then the parents could send their kids a mask. If the vaccine is so safe, then God bless you, get vaccinated. But this is America. The Constitution says that I don't have to take a vaccine or I don't have to wear a mask. Really, if everybody just stopped, what are you going to do? Close the schools? You're not going to have a board of ed. You're not going to have teachers if everybody showed up without a mask.
Sir, I appreciate your
I'm
comments,
done.
but please cover your face. You just have to go through everybody else.
Hi there. My name is Terry DiMartini Greenlee. I live at 35 Woodrow Place in West Caldwell. I really had no intention of speaking here tonight, but I just have to say I might be the minority in this room, but I ask that you please keep the mandates, that our children will go back to school wearing masks so that we can ensure that everybody is safe. We don't know who is a child that is compromised. We don't know who has family members at home that may have illnesses that if they got COVID, they could not survive this. I'm a social worker. I worked throughout COVID in a psychiatric emergency room. I'm aware, as many of us are, of the stress that this has put under many people, including children. And I also know I have 3 children in district, well, 2 in district, 1 about to start in district. My youngest went to preschool last year wearing a mask. He was the happiest out of my 3 children because he went to school every day and he learned and he was with his peers and it was wonderful. My older children were happiest in school. And I know that it's hard wearing masks. I understand that, you know, as a person wearing it during the workday. I also understand it having those conversations with my children. And in my home, we talk about wearing the mask in order to protect other people and do what we can to keep us all safe and get back to normal. So I thank you for listening to me. And I just want to say to you that I think there's a lot of people in this town, maybe they're not here, but who would agree that we want our kids to be safe and we want to be back in school. And if it means wearing a mask, then please continue to do that so we can stay safe. Thank you.
Marion Ferrara, 29 Dawson Drive. I had no intention of speaking either. I was asked to come here about 3 o'clock today. And my kids are not even in the district yet, and will be in next year. I actually walked in with her mask on tonight, and I had to take it off because I couldn't breathe. And the other one that she had just like that disintegrated because of her sweat, chewing on it. She's 4 years old. There is no need for them to wear masks. Everybody talks about following the science, following the numbers. I've been doing that since last year. I work in the pharmaceutical industry. There's no need for these kids to wear masks. There's not anything on record of children transitioning it to the teachers. And all we're asking for, everyone in this room, except for the few, is to make it optional. I'm not asking any of you to take care of my kid to take care of their health care. That's my job. I'm their mother. All we want is the right to choose. Please write the letter, or please tell us why you won't write the letter.
Anyone else like to speak?
Sorry, got something on this up here. So it's Sue Marinucci, 32 Ravine, Caldwell. I hear everybody talking about following the science, but if you really follow the science, I got to ask you one question. Why does the WHO, CDC, NIH, White House, Moderna, Pfizer, and J&J are not required to take the vaccine? They are not mandated. It should be a choice. There's a 99% success rate surviving this, and that's your choice. So I just had to put those stats out there, and I think people need to know that is a choice. We live in America. It hasn't changed as far as I'm concerned. We still have our inalienable rights. The right to choose and my right to speech is one thing. So everybody has their own opinion, and that's fine. We should respect that. But you should also respect the parents are the ones that have your children. And it's their right and it's their call. As a nurse, I would get sued if I took care of somebody against the parents' will. I heard of 26 kids out in Colorado that were rejected by a school nurse. I could not take care of an adult, a child who has disabilities, even if the parents there without power of attorney papers. And I just want parents to know that is unacceptable, and it is abuse, and it is not acceptable for any nurse to do that in any school system. That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? First off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight and basically sharing your thoughts, ideas, questions to us and comments. We are going to go into private session at this point. We will obviously take your comments and questions into consideration. And then we can report back out to you as to which direction we decide to go. I will say, because you're probably wondering and asking or questioning, I personally believe that masks should be required for schools. Okay? So with that,
Are your kids in the school?
Vaccine? Where is that?
Let's spread it with the vaccine. Why are your kids in the school? Non-vaccinated, yeah. It doesn't make sense. Are your kids in our school? So would you make that decision for your kids?
my daughter who goes to school has to wear a mask every day, and actually, quite honestly, she appreciates the fact of wearing a mask.
It's an unauthorized medical intervention that we did not consent to, so the lawsuit will not.
Yeah, but that's your child. You can do what you want with that. Our children, we want to do what we want.
Understood. We are mandated by the state to have.
You're not.
It's an unapproved medical intervention. that we don't consent to.
It's actually disgusting what you people are doing.
It is disgusting.
But then everyone's gonna move to Florida.
You think anybody's gonna pay $20,000 in tax to live in West Caldwell? When we can't even do what we want with our own children? You're gonna tell I put my kid in a pod because you guys want my kid to go. My 5-year-old, my kindergarten's gonna take a loan to do this. And then you're bringing our police officer in tonight with you because that was the only reason we know he's here because you knew what the subject was tonight.
Sir, I'm asking you to keep your mask on. Thank you.
Your mask, by the way, sir, has fallen off about 15 times. Do you really think, don't you understand the utility of the mask? Touching it, it doesn't matter.
hope that the decision doesn't make it an ultimate.
We'll discuss that in private session.
Send the data, that the masks work. I want to see it. My son has asthma. He should not be suffering. We can't breathe for the mask. Take out what you said.
So the purpose of this meeting was to discuss personnel, negotiations, legal, miscellaneous, and old business matters. This meeting has been advertised and was compliant with the Open Public Meeting Act and NJSA 10:4-6, which is also known as Sunshine Law. The matters discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and formal action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a meeting which the public has been invited. May I have a motion to enter executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Based on the motions of Ms. Grosso and Mr. Elko, and upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools of West Caldwell, West Caldwell Board of Education, we will enter public session at approximately 7 p.m. We need to take a vote?
Yeah. Guys?
Remember this during the next board election. Everyone here, remember this is the next board election. Don't bring your receipts, don't bring your receipts. They're too busy watching CNN. Their names are right there.
We're not.